name is Chema. On today's sewing tutorial, I'm going to be showing us how to make this beautiful, chic, sexy, neck plunging black dress. What do I call it now? This dress is super cute. So I have 2.5 yards of fabric here, which I might not end up using everything, and I have my pattern paper. I'm going to be drafting on the pattern paper so that I can get perfect measurements for this. And so to draft, you have your pattern paper, you have your marker, your ruler, your tape rule, your pattern paper scissors, that's your paper scissors. I also have tracing wheel here just in case I will need it. I have my pins and tape. I'm going to set the fabric aside and then start drafting. Now for the upper bodice of this dress, I am going to work with 19.5 inches plus 3 inches. So the actual length I need is 19.5 inches, so I'm going to indicate 19.5 inches. I'll be needing the extra 3 inches I added plus the ½ inch. I'll be needing it later, and I'm going to explain to us what we need it for. These are the measurements you need for this. You need the length, the shoulder to the top of bust, the shoulder to the bust, shoulder to underbust, and half length. So what you'll be needing is the half length you need for this dress. And then just add 4 inches to it and mark out. You understand why we need that extra 4 inches later. So the half length I need is 19.5, but I'm going to mark 23 inches. So this is what I have. So this full length here, the front part is 19.5 inches. The back is 19.5 inches minus 2.5 inches. So we'll have 17 inches. This is 2.5 inches. The difference between the front half length and the back half length. So from the shoulder, my shoulder is 7.5 inches. I'm marking 7.5 inches. For the front slope, I'm going to come down by 1.5 inch. But I'll also indicate the 1 inch where I'm going to start imputing the armhole and armhole sitting. Okay, for my armhole, you divide your bust measurements by 6 and add 1.5 inches for it to it. Mine I usually get 7.3 something, so I'm going to mark 7.3. So which will make it like 8.3 from the top, from your starting point. Okay, so for the back I will do the same thing. 7.5, 7.5. For the back slope, I mark 1 inch, and then I mark the 7.3 inches for the armhole sitting, and then connect it to the front. Mark that 1.5 inch for the shoulder slope for the front, and then 1 inch for the shoulder slope for the back. And I ruled out the armhole sitting. This is the armhole. Then for the neckline, I'm just going to use 2.5 inches for the neckline. I will alter it as we go. For the front depth, I'm going to use 3 inches. Using the curved part of the ruler, I'll connect it, and then I'll rule it to meet the shoulder slope. For the back, I'll use 2.5 inches, come down by maybe ½ inch and connect it. And then using the straight ruler, connect it to the shoulder slope. Now, you can see the 1 inch I left at the back for the zip. This is the zip allowance. So let's start with the back. So now I'm going to include my back dart. So to mark your dart, you use your bust point measurement. That's your nipple to nipple measurement as your guide. For me, it's 8 inches. Divided by 2 will be 4 inches. So I'll mark 4 inches. And then come up here, mark 4 inches and connect it. So for the dart, I'm going to be using 1.5 inch for the dart. So 0.75 inch on each side of the dart. So that's a total of 1.5 inch. I'm going to connect it. Whenever I rule out this kind of dart at the back, I just extend the dart line by ½ inch and connect it like this. This is just to create a guide so that when I transfer my dart to the fabric, it will be easy for me to take out the dart. I hope you understand. And then from here, I'm going to take out ½ inch for the zip bulging, to eliminate the zip bulging. Okay, and then I'll just rule it up to come up to here and connect it. That's half an inch from here towards the up. You just take it up like that. Okay, now I'm going to increase my waist measurement. Waist 29 inches divided by 4 plus 1.5 inch dart will be 8.75 inches. So from here, I'm going to mark 8.75. And then here, I'm going to mark the bust measurement. The bust 35 divided by 4 will be 8.75 as well. So I'm going to mark 8.75. So I'm just going to connect these two. Now I'm going to mark out the armhole. For the back, I'll divide the back armhole into 2, and then I'm going to come in by half of an inch. Use a straight ruler to connect it to the shoulder slope, and then use the curved part of the ruler to mark out the armhole. And then for the front, I'm going to go up by 3.5 inches or 3 inches, come in by half of an inch, connect it to the shoulder slope. So for the front, we are going to be indicating the shoulder to the bust measurement 10 inches, shoulder to the underbust measurement 13.5 inches. So you can just mark out your waistline like this, okay? So I can just mark out 16 inches around the waistline. This is for that manipulation, okay? So I'm going to repeat the same thing here: 10, 13.5, 16. And then for the top of the shoulder, top of the bust, I use 7 inches. So you can measure it to wherever you feel most comfortable to place it. That's where you include that part, okay? Now to taking out the front dart, I'm going to mark the same 4 inches, and all the way here. At the underbust, I'm going to take out 2 inches for the underbust. So I'm going to first take out 0.75 inch on this side, and then from here I'll place the 2 inches and mark out 2 inches here for the underbust. Around this 16 inches, that's the waist area, I'm going to take out 1.5 inch, the same 1.5 inch I took out here. So 0.75 inch on each side. Okay, then I can roll it towards the down part like so. So I'm going to connect it like this, connect these two first, and then roll it down here. Connect this one here, and then roll it this way as well. I hope that makes sense. From your bust point, just come down to 1 inch, and then connect to the underbust, and then do the same thing on this side. So now you can impute your measurements. My bust measurement is 35 inches divided by 4 will be 8.75 inches. The underbust is 27 inches divided by 4 will be 6.75. So 6.75 plus 2 inches that I've taken out for this dart. So I'll mark out the 2 inches, and this is what you have. And the waist measurement was 29 inches divided by 4 plus 1.5 inch for that will be 8.75 inches. So here, waist 29 inches divided by 4 will be 7.25. Now I'm going to add like half an inch that I have, almost half an inch, like 0.25 I have here to it here. So I'm going to connect these lines. Now from here, these 2.5 inches that we've taken out here, I'm going to take out from this place. So from the bust, I'm going to come down on this line by 2.5 inches, and I'll connect it to the bust point. So this place will be eliminated when we are taking out the pattern. Now to create the Basque effect on this dress, you're going to roll towards this place. So from the waistline, you are rolling from here to meet this place like so. Now you see why we needed the extra 3.5 inches that we added when we were marking out our starting point and marking our half length. Okay, that is why I added the extra 3.5 inches. The extra 3.5 inches will not appear at the back because the Basque effect is only in the front. So but if you are making this dress and adding Basque effect in the front and the back, then you can add the 3.5 inches to the back as well as you're adding it to the front. I hope you understand. So this 3.5 inches is for the Basque effect. So you just connect it from the waistline straight. So we are going to be cutting out this pattern. We are going to cut out the underbust completely. Okay, the lower part of the underbust. We're going to cut it completely and then separate this one here, and then we'll cut out this place separately. Okay, just pay attention. So first I'm going to take out the back piece. So for the front, we'll start cutting out this place. I've taken out this part. Let me set it aside first. So, and then I'm going to take out the dart lines. I'll stop in here. And then I can now fold in this place that I want to eliminate the bust darts. we are folding it to the bust line. So I'm going to connect this back to the armhole. Now I can take this one out. Okay, so now I'm going to take out this part. Now if you bring these ones together like this, you see that it now matches the back. Okay, but we're not done with our alteration. This is center front and this is side front. Now to alter this place, because of how the neckline of the dress is, so from here I'm going to come down by 1 inch here, and from this 1 inch I am going to just do the back piece. Now you can decide to take out a little bit of it, just curve it in a little and connect it. So this is the back. So here is the up. This arrow, if that's even an arrow. Okay, so I can cut out this piece. Now you can decide how open you want yours to be. Okay, you can decide how open you want it to be. So I'm going to come here. I want it to be like 3 inches, this place. So that's like 6 inches when I open it up. Okay, so from here I'm going to mark 6 inches. Towards here, the bust area, I'm going to mark 2 inches towards the bust area here. And then, you know, this will be cut on fold, which means what we have here, this 2 inches is going to end up being 4 inches. So for here, this place, I'm going to take out 1 inch. Exactly on the underbust, I'm taking out 1 inch. So using my ruler, I am connecting this like so. And then I am taking this all the way to the neckline, okay? Now you can decide to take out maybe half of an inch from the neckline and mark it however you want, okay? Now, note that we cut out from here, we came down from 1 inch from the armhole. This is where I'm cutting it out. So I'm going to mark this from that 1 inch I came down, connect it like so. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate here and I'm going to eliminate here. So this is the part we need for the upper bodice for the front. I hope this makes sense. If it doesn't make sense yet, please pay more attention. So when I get to this other waistline, the 16 inches, I am going to curve it. I'm using my free hand now, just giving it a little bit of curve here like this. I hope you understand. So now I'm going to cut out these places that I don't need. So this is my pattern for the upper bodice. I'm going to transfer this fabric now. I've placed the pattern paper and I've traced out the sewing allowances. Okay, now for the back piece, I just added a little bit of 0.25 inch at the top here that I'm going to turn the top. Okay, I'm cutting 2 of this, and I remember it's on fold, the fabric is on fold, so I'm going to cut another one of this for the back. Just included half an inch at the down part for joining the upper bodice to the lower bodice of the dress. Okay,
looking at this pattern paper, I want to go lower in the opening I have in the front. Remember to place the center front exactly at the beginning of the fold, because the center front is supposed to be on fold and not cut through.
I hope you remember that. And then towards the part that is a bit curved in, you add your sewing allowance as well. I added half an inch here up to here because I'm going to be sewing it like up to here when I sew it. So I have 0.25 inch at the top here, like 0.3 inches at the top here, that I'm going to be using to join this one to this part. Okay, this place we're going to sew here to this, but that will be after you've taken out the darts. You will now join this place to this place. Okay, So for the dart line for here, you can see I added my sewing allowance, and I'm going to take out the dart line all the way to the bust point. Just note that. So sewing allowance here. Then on the side, I added 1.5 inch sewing allowance on the side. The same thing I added at the back here. So this is the Basque effect. Added 1/2 inch at the as well at the down part for joining the lower bodice to the upper bodice. I hope that makes sense. Then 1/2 inch here to join these two pieces, to join the center front to the side front. Then over here
for the shoulder / the rope,
I extended it. I added like 16 inches all the way. You can make it as long as you want because you'll be tying this on your neck. Okay, so you can extend it as long as you want it to be. So just don't extend it this direction. If you have to extend it, slant it towards the center. Okay, see the way I did it? You slant it towards the center of this so that it will bring the dress automatically to the position of tying. If you slant it towards this place, it will give you gaping when you tie it. It will gape, like the dress will gape a little bit.
Like you see on this outfit, you see how the top part is gaping?
And we don't want that, so slant it towards the fold of this. And I'm going to cut 2 of this as well. So after cutting this part, I'm going to fold the fabric again and cut out exactly the same thing for this upper bodice again. Okay, so I've cut out all the pieces. I've cut out the part I'm going to be using as a lining piece, that's the one underneath. And so this is what I have, and I've also cut out the lower bodice. Okay, this is what I have here. So I have it to be 20. So this is 20.5 inches by 33 inches on fold, which means when you open it up, you have 66 inches for the width. This is the back piece. It's in pieces. You can see I cut 2 of it for the back piece. I have the same thing for the front piece. The only difference is that the front piece is not 33 inches like this, it's 32 inches on fold. Okay, so and I'm going to go ahead and run a loose stitch on the top of the back piece and that of the front piece. That's the lower bodice.
So the back piece is 1 inch wider than the front piece on fold, and that is the zip allowance.
At the end of the day, the full length of this gown is supposed to be like 37-38 inches. Okay, so if you want yours to be shorter, do well to reduce the length of this lower bodice. I'm going to also start joining these ones. Let me take out the pins first. And okay, so I'm going to transfer the dart lines and then go and take out the darts for the back pieces, while for the front piece I will start joining them. So for this front piece, we are going to start with the center. So I'm going to place this center like so, and then take up this one. This is the lining piece. These are the lining pieces underneath. So I'm going to take this one like this and this like this. So I'm going to go ahead and sew them. So I'm going to sew it with 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'm going to sew with 1/2 inch. I will do the same thing for the lining pieces as well. And then for this part, so for here, I'm just going to go ahead and take out the darts. So I'm just going to sew here. Like this. And do the same thing here as well. So let me go ahead and sew these pieces. So I've gone ahead to sew them, and when you sew it, you open up the seam line and iron it flat. Now it will also help if you can use your stay to iron it down so it doesn't have to fold in again. To just stay like that, like I did on these pieces. Look at how it is. Cut out a piece of the stay and iron it down so it stays like that. So you give it neat ironing so it comes out looking like this. So the same thing for this side. After sewing this down part, you open up the seam line and iron it as well. And you can also use your stay to keep the seam line open permanently. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and join them. See, so I'm going to place this to try and match the dart lines together. The same thing on this side. So make sure to match the dart lines so it looks like a continuation. Okay, and because it's going to be directly under the bust, it might be difficult to tell that there is a joining there. That is if you match the dart line very well. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this, and I'll sew the lining piece as well. And then for the back piece, I have also sewn the dart lines and ironed them. See, this is the dart lines. So I'm going to be using the lining piece to conceal the top. And so I'm going to place the lining pieces like this, and I will sew the top. You can place a hemming gum in between as you sew it, so that when you turn it the other way, it's going to lay flat after ironing. I'm going to sew it with this, and then I'll use my hemming gum to hold it down and top stitch on the wrong side, so that when you iron it, it will lay very flat. I've joined them. So you can see I've joined them, taking note of exactly the dart lines, and I've ironed them. Now what I want to show us is that I want to extend this plunging neckline. I want to extend it. It is too short. From the inspiration that I'm using to make this, it was really down, and I'm trying to be a little bit more cautious with that, but I am going to bring it down a little bit more. So if you notice from the pattern drafting we cut, I came down to just the 16 inches. In all, it was just 16 inches from the shoulder. So I'm going to come down a little bit more, but I'm going to do it on the fabric. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm folding the main fabric in half like so. So I'm pinning it to match the joining. Okay, because I don't want my navel to show, I measured from my underbust to my navel and I got 5 inches. So I'm going to be using 4.5 inches instead. So from this joining, underbust joining, I come down to 4.5 inches. And then I'm going to connect it from here all the way to meet here. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this out. I've marked this one as well. So when you open it now, it's way lower compared to how it was. So this is what I wanted, so you can see. Now also I want to add a bit of joining like ropes. If you look at the finished work, you notice that there are joinings in between, like 3 different lines, and then you bead on top of it. So to achieve that, I'm going to be using a fabric piece to make a rope. Fold it into 2 and just sew it. Okay, make it neat, make a rope out of it, as tiny as it can be, as you want, and we're going to join it here. Now also note that from the pattern we drafted, I cut out 1 inch from the underbust, so that when I was now transferring to fabric, I added half inch on it. So when you now sew the half inch as a way of concealing this neckline, you arrive at 2 inches as the opening in the front. But with this little I've cut out now, we have extended that 2 inches. So when you are done sewing now, you'll probably be getting like 2.5 inches here. So I've already made the ropes that I need, as you can see. So I'm going to be using the ropes to conceal this place. So you know that you need 2.5 inches on the rope. So you are going to measure it, leaving half an inch on each side. So this is half an inch. You measure 2.5 inches here. Okay, or come here and measure 2.5 inches like so. So this is where the 2.5 inch is going to be. So I'm going to place this one like this and like this. Now when you are sewing this, you'll be using the lining piece to conceal it. So I'm going to place this one exactly on the underbust, placing the mark I made where I will be sewing it. Okay, on the place I'm going to be sewing it, and I'm going to pin it. So when you sew this one is supposed to come here like this, but we sew this one after we have sewn this side. Okay, so I'm going to be doing the same thing on this side. I'm going to place one here and one almost at the end here. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to take out this one too. Now this place, if you measure here like this, the opening I have here like this is like 1.3 inches. So if you assume that you're going to be taking out like 0.6 from each side when you sew it as a sewing allowance, so that 0.6 will now make let's say 1.9 inch as opening, or 2 inches in all. So I'm going to measure the 1.9 inch as well. So mark this one. So mark here. You will then measure the 1.9 inches for the other one here, and I will indicate that. So I'm going to take out the excess because I don't want to have too much fabric. So I'm taking out the excess. So I have, this is the opening that's supposed to come here when we are done sewing. Okay, so I'm going to place this one here. So I'm going to place this one like this here. And then the last one, when you measure this place as well, you have almost 1 inch here, which means when I take out like 0.35 or almost half an inch around this side, we are going to come down to almost 1.5 inch as an opening. So I'm going to measure 1.5 inch on this rope as well. So I'll mark the sewing allowance, measure 1.5 inch, mark it, and then I'm going to cut out the other part of it that I don't need. And then I'll take the lining piece, I will place it like this. So I'm going to place it exactly at the waistline joining and pin it again, and then I will sew here. So I'm going to sew this place to this place, and then I will do the same thing here. So what I'm going to do is mark where I will be placing it on the other side. Okay, you just mark where it will start, where you start placing it, so that it will be on the same line. So this is where I'm going to place the other end of the rope. Okay, so this one is going to be exactly here too. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this place. I'm going to sew here, stop here, then turn the other one and sew the other side. So to sew it, I'm going to start at the beginning of the neckline extension. That's the part that we're going to be using as a rope. I'm going to start at that beginning, and I would like to add hemming gum as I sew it, because I will need the hemming gum for when I iron it so that it will lay very neatly. So I'm going to place a hemming gum here, and I'll start sewing from the beginning using 0.25 inches. I'm going to take out these pins and then open this place. Okay, you can see that this place is now sewn, it's not a part of it. So what I'm going to do now, see the markings I made on where I'm going to start sewing the next one. See the mark on this one. So what I'm going to do now is so I've sewn this side and I stopped here. So I'm going to open this place like this and then open here. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I am going to place this one, so this one exactly where I marked where I'm supposed to continue. I'm going to place it here and like this, pin it. Take the second one, the same thing, and I'll pin it here. And then I'll take the last one the same way and I'll pin it. Okay, so see, so I'm going to now take the lining piece and I will try and return it. Okay, now I'm going to return it like this and try and sew it. Look at how this is. See, it's now hooked in. Look at how it looks. I hope this makes sense to you, but please try and understand. So I'm going to hook it here, and then I'll go and start sewing from the beginning of this one and sew from here to get to this place. So I can continue sewing from where I stopped. Okay. This is it. Look at how it's coming out. Of course, you need to iron this place to keep it clean. Okay, so let me take out these pins that are on this side. I think we did pretty good. Look at this, it came out nice, you can see. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to try and top stitch on the lining piece. That's why you have this, the way it looks displayed like this. I'm going to try and top stitch on the lining piece, and then I'll take it to my ironing board and iron it. With the help of the hemming gun we have in between, it's going to lay flat. It's going to be neater. So I'm going to try and top stitch on the lining piece. Okay. Also, don't forget to make notches around the curved area. Very, very important. Make notches around the curved areas as you sew. Okay, so this is what I have after top stitching on the lining piece. All right, so what I'm going to do now is from the armhole, for each one I'm just going to fold in from the armhole, and I am going to sew again to properly conceal this neckline and the neckline extension, the rope. So I'm going to sew from here to here, turn it inside out, so that we can now start joining the lower bodice. Okay, so now I am going to use a loop turner to turn it inside out. I advise you guys to get this loop turner. It's quite useful, comes in handy in so many sewing techniques, so please get one for yourself. So I'm going to hook it in on the loop turner and try to pull it through. Okay, so this is how it looks. So I'm going to do the same thing on this other side, and I'll go ahead and iron it. Look at how this looks. This is it. So I'm going to finish off this other side like that, and then I'll go and iron it, and then we'll start joining the lower bodies. So here, this is how it came out. I've ironed it. So this is the long rope for the neck, and this is how the front now looks. Very cute. As you can see, it's taking shape already. This is it on the wrong side. Super clean, super cute. And this is the back pieces. I have also sewn the top and ironed it out. Look at how it looks. Ironed the dart lines, everything. Okay, so this is a zipper I am going to be using for it. Now I'm going to be gathering the down part of it on it. Okay, so you're going to gather it and then sew the zipper for the back piece. Okay, so this is the fabric I'm using for the front piece. So I'm going to take it like so. Find the middle of the fabric and place it here. So I guess I can turn this like this. Turn it like so. Place it at the apex of the Basque effect and pin. Now your job is to gather all of these, because I already ran a loose stitch on it. As you can see, I'm going to gather all of this to fit in here. Gather all of this side to fit in here. I'm just going to gather one side in front of the camera. I'm sure you guys already know how to gather clothes, okay? So I'm folding it in half again, so I can just match it, like fold this place in half as well, find the middle, and this process helps you to even out the spread of the gathers when you pin it at strategic places, okay? So I'm going to pull on one of the threads and just gather it. This fabric is very thick. So this is it. And then you pin the end like so. I'm going to go ahead and sew this. I'll gather the rest of the fabric like this, and I'll gather the back piece. I'll gather the back piece as well individually. So this is the V shape, the Basque side. So I've sewn the part that I've gathered already. So what I'm going to do is pull on the fabric again. So I'm going to just find where the middle of the second side of this place is. Fold this fabric as well. So now I'm going to pull on this thread again to gather the other side. Since that I've gotten to where this one is, what I'm going to do is, after gathering here like this, I'm going to turn the fabric this way and continue this side. So I'm going to just complete this place. Okay. So this is the Basque effect. Look at how it looks. I hope you like what you see. And the wrong side. So don't forget to do your inner weaving. You have to weave it. Otherwise, this place is looking so messy. So you gotta weave it, okay, with your overlocking machine. So there you have it. This is how it came out. So pretty. And this is the back pieces. I have also sewn these pieces for the back. So the zip is going to come here. So what I'm going to do now is join the back pieces and sew the zipper. Okay guys, so I've sewn the zipper, I've attached the zipper. So what is left now is to join the sides and then hem the down parts. And this is how it looks after sewing the sides and weaving it, okay, and then hemming the down parts and also ironing. All right, this is how it looks. I hope yours comes out like this. This is the back and this is the front. Before we get into the beading, I want to specially appeal to you guys to please like this video and leave a comment. The comments and the likes may not mean anything to you, but it means so much to me as a creator. It helps to put my video out there and give my videos more visibility. So please, I beg of you, leave a comment and like this video. You can also share it if you can. Thank you so much. And so guys, for the moment you have all been waiting for, how did I attach these pearls to the dress? Okay, this is one of the highlights of the dress, and you guys know that I do beading on this channel as well. Okay, so I bead on fabrics, so I'm going to teach you how I made this. So I have these pearls. Okay, I got these pearls, the small ones and the big ones. Now I need 4 of the big ones. I already have one here. I'm going to put one here, and one here. Okay, so that's 4 in all. So you can see how I have already marked out the center of each of these places where I'm going to place it. That is where you have to, so you can align to align. Okay, and when you are beading goes with measurements, especially if you have to match sides. So it goes with measurements, they have to match. Okay, now I have a fishing line here. This is what I'm using to make it. Okay, this is fishing line, and this is a beading needle. It's very tiny, very tiny. It's like more like it's very slim, so you can go through the little pairs. Okay, go to where they sell beads, you will get the beading needle and your fishing line. For this fishing line I'm using 0.25 mm. Okay, all right, so now let's get into it. So I already have my needle threaded, as you can see, and if you are doing yours, don't make it too long because it tangles very easily. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is take out some of the beads. I'm just going to keep this one here. For each of these sides, you are counting 14 pearls first. So I'm going to put 14 pearls first. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3. So I have 14 now, and then I'm going to pass the large pearl in. Count another 14. Okay, another 14. 1, 2. So this, there you go. I have 14 on each side. I'm moving everything downwards now. I'm moving it down. But you need a little bit of thread around here, so you're not going to move it to the end. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do now. Fold in here like so, pass it through the big pearl, and then bring it back. You can see it's taking shape. And then I'm going to take this one. Your fishing line is also sturdy on its own. You can use it to work, so I pass it through here as well, and it will come out on this side. Okay, so now we have the first step, as you can see. Next thing we're going to do is these other ones. So for this particular one that is standing, the ones that are standing, I used 9 pearls. So I'm going to pass 9 pearls. So now I have 9 pearls. What I'm going to do now is pick the last pearl, pick it up, and then pass the needle again. I hope you can see through the pearls, the rest of them, that's the remaining 8. So you're passing it through again. Now because the needle is very tiny, like it's slim, it can go through the smaller pairs twice or even more than that. Okay, you'll see as we go. See, so now I have passed it and I'm going to pull it. So you are pulling it to bring it closer. Now see, as you are doing this, make sure to always keep dragging it because it's going to keep loosening it. It's going to keep feeling weak. Okay, so now we have passed one part. What I'm going to do now is pass this needle through the big pearl again. All right, and then count another 9. Okay, so I have 9 here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pass it again, removing the first one and passing from the second one, and pass the needle through the remaining 8 again, like I did on the other side. And then pull it. Now at this point, you see that these two are meeting here, so I'm going to make a knot, the first knot, to try and secure it. So I'm going to make a knot, tie these two rope. Okay, you see that? And I'll tie it again. You can make more than one of this, okay? Now we've gotten the pearl. Next thing is attaching the pearl to the dress. So we've gotten the shape we want. So what I'm going to do now is take the big pearl. You are placing it exactly at the middle where you marked first, and then you are going to take the needle in whatever direction it is at. So I'm going to pass the needle down here, you're going to first secure the large one, the large pearl. So pass it through this place, and then since the fabric is thick, pass it through the fabric. We don't want the thread poking out on the wrong places. So pass it through here again, and you come out here. When you come out here, you pass it through the large pearl again. Like I said, the needle and thread, they are very, very tiny, so you can go in as many times as possible. So you can see, now you are now going to position this part that you want to be on the flat surface. You are going to position it. Next, you are going to take the same needle, pass it through the small pearl. Now you are going to count like 3. Okay, you're passing it through here, count like 3 pearls, like so, and bring it out from here. All right, now exactly where you brought it out on this place, you push it into this fabric and bring it out on this other side. Okay, and then exactly that place, you're going to pass it through the other 3 that is here, these 3. So you pass the thread again through here. Now when you get here, to secure it on the fabric, you push it down on the fabric. Please pay attention so that this will be secured, properly secured. So we've gotten this side secured. Now we are going to pass it again. Okay, so you're going to pass it through here again, bring it out, pass it through the big pearl again. Now when it comes out this time, you will position this one, station it like this, and you can go down again to secure it. So you are trying to create a strong foundation for this, so it does not loosen out. Okay, that is why I pass it in so many times. Now I'm going to pass it through another 3 pearl on this direction. And it comes out here, the same thing, you push it down here, and then like so, and pass it to this side, and securing it, you pass it through another 3. You get the drift, now you understand it, and you pass it down here, and then you are coming out from the big pearl all the way. So gently, and this is it. See, it's already looking secured on the body. So this one, what this one does with his life is not our business. It's going to dangle, so that one is not our business. So now that it's out here, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start making a knot with the one I left. You see why this one will have it? So you have to make knot as many times as you can, multiple knots. Okay, you're going to make multiple knots on this to secure it properly. And as you do that, you can also intermediately pass the needle through the down part, poke it out of the fabric, bring it out again, and continue making a knot, because the purpose of this is to make sure it is properly secured. I hope you understand what I'm saying and what I'm doing. I'm going to cut it. I'm cutting the thread, look at, just maybe an inch or 0.75 inch away from the base, as you can see. Now what am I going to do with this one that is left over? That's why I have this here. So I'm going to set it on fire. But if you are not very experienced with beading, please don't do this part of this part. Just cut it from the end. Just cut it as close to the end as you can if you are not experienced in bead making and using this fire thing, okay, please. So me, I do this anyway. So I burn it, and when it's close, I blow out the light, and then because it's rubber, it just glues. Now that is how it's done. As you can see, looking pretty. I hope that makes sense, guys. So I'm going to do the same thing on this other side. So let's do it again. Go over it one more time. I don't know if this thread will be enough for me to go one more, but let's see. Let's try. This was a bad idea. The thread is not enough, so I have to start from the beginning again. Okay, so I changed the thread after after my effort. Okay, so now I've passed the 9th one, so I'm just going to skip it and then pass the thread through the 8th one all the way to the 1st one. Okay, so then I'll take it to the dress. And then using my igniter, I'm just going to lit it. And there you go. So I have made 3. I'm going to do the 4th one off camera, and then I'll try this beautiful dress on and show us how it looks. I promise you, it came out looking so pretty. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. And if you are seeing this channel for the first time, please subscribe. Do want to share this video if you can. I appreciate that. It helps to give visibility. Don't forget to leave a comment, and see you all in my next tutorial. Bye bye.